I am playing Rena. I am playing Adrestia, ex-sheriff of the Camarilla of Philadelphia. But now I am a member of the Sabbat.
Hello, everyone. I'm Prince. I'm playing Amario Ringo, Zanisi, OG Sabat, and Pleasure Boat, the SS Perfection.
My name is Lily. I'm going to be playing Evelyn Thompson in this chronicle. I am entirely new to this world and as yet have no place in it.
Hello, everyone. My name is Gabriel. I will be playing Arthur Harris, the Tremere.
Our story of the Sabbat takes place on a night much like any other nights. Well, at least for one of you, this is the night that you'll never forget, instilled in your brain for times to come. As Sabbat, your duties haven't been necessarily clear. For your own reasons, you have been entrenched in the most notorious of factions within the Kindred world, where the Camarilla seek to control the Caine through political connections and the flow of money and their own traditions, and the Anarchs run red and rage on the streets. It is the Sabbat that control through a very different way. Through the religious undertone and grapple that they have on the city of Philly. It is here three of you find yourselves standing in the very familiar cathedral cemetery located within West Philly. Once a central meetup point for the Sabbat, it's been long lost and long abandoned until now. As the three of you arrive, presumably together, you see a gentleman dressed up not really for the occasion of going to a cemetery, although he wears his khaki pants, his pink button-up shirt, and sunglasses despite it being nearly 11 p.m. He waits having a smoke at the gates of the cemetery. Who is in charge of transportation out of the three of you?
Well, I certainly have a car that I could lend to the occasion. I would have had my dear Quinn escort us there, should it be necessary.
I just showed up.
So is everyone showing up separately then?
Yeah. And I show up in my sports car.
Dashing as always.
Your ghoul looks at you, Arthur, as you are about to depart. Doesn't say anything, but just gives you those eyes of, are you sure you want to go through with this?
Arthur gives him a small smile, looks back over at the man, looks back at Quinn and says, I'll be fine. I'm positive that if I need you, you will make yourself available.
He nods, pulling up the cards a little bit up the street as you kind of turn in.
Good. Well, have a pleasant evening, old chap. And he gets out of the car and heads towards the man.
Looking from the sports car over to the walking ex-sheriff, and then Arthur, who's gotten out of this fairly not super fancy, it's a decent car. He puts out a cigarette, stamping it under his wing-toe shoes. Well, good thing I wasn't waiting too long. And he kind of looks at his manicured nails, a little bit sharper than normal. So,
Well, what a shame. I could have sworn we were right on time.
you know what as the old adage goes. If you're early on time, if you're on time, you're late. And if you're late,
Some of us are so sharp we could cut ourselves, aren't we?
Really,
May
yeah.
we, may we know your name, sir?
oh, you don't recognize me? And as he takes off his sunglasses, you could see it's been quite some time since you've seen him, and a little bit more scarring than usual, but you recognize him as Javier Perez. And kind of like, as you're kind of putting everything together, you know from the fact that he is a La Sombra, he's had a little bit of dark dealings in the past, and he was there at your initiation / like baptism, almost. But you, Arthur, you're not a true Sabbat. Not just yet. You're still in initiation. You're still in that probationary period, and you've been like that for years.
Hobby. Long time no see.
Good to see you getting away from your special little boat. Well, maybe little is.
No, a dragon likes to stay close to his sword.
I completely understand. I believe that. Well, I understand that up until now, we haven't really been making too many moves, but it's time for the both of you to repay your debts, pay the piper, as it were. Speaking of which, I believe our newest convert should be coming in right now. Looking over at Adrestia, walking towards the group. Hello there, Sheriff.
Ex-sheriff.
Oh, titles die hard, you know that. But of course, I will respect it. And
But say X.
Mhm.
Then you're gonna stop harassing me.
We'll see.
The two of you know each other. Splendid. Well, this makes
Oh, we know each other very, very well, don't we? Oh, Ringo?
We can get a little closer, but
Why
being
are we
around me
here?
changes people.
You mean literally changes people.
Yes, it does.
My, how enthralling.
now.
Yep.
Let's not get too into our own bullshit now. We have a fourth guest we're waiting for. Or should I say is waiting for us. Shall we proceed?
Well, why not?
As he walks you through the cathedral cemetery, it's one of those places that kind of looks like time has forgot, per se. It's not in the greatest part of the neighborhood. There are some niceties to it. Some well kept like stonework, statues of religious icons and figures of various of headstones, the trees which are kind of dying out or already have died out in the death throes of fall. It's expansive and just kind of rolling brown and leaf-filled plains. Many impressive like obelisks and even just like this kind of mini mausoleum / offices kind of in the middle of it all. But where he takes you is pretty deep into the cemetery as he occasionally looks and passes grave and headstones, just kind of taking in. You know, I've always felt very comfortable in cemeteries. I don't know about the rest of you. It makes me feel closer to home, closer to God, as he takes out the kind of like cross that he's been wearing underneath his shirt and starts playing with it, thumbing it around.
It's certainly good to be reminded how close we are to the sins of our fathers.
And how we must be the sword of our Father in defeating these sins. Yes. You know, this used to be one of our favorite spots at one point. We used to come here and we used to have mass embraces and watched as the new apostles crawled themselves out of the dirt, cannibalizing one another on the way out. In our most vicious of cycles, but it's necessary.
It's beautiful.
I may not be super kept up with the times, but I believe in Philly there's a phrase that I do truly mean to heart, which is, hungry dogs run faster. And, well, the hungrier the kindred, the more fierce they'll become. That's what we needed back then. That's what the standard of our soldiers were.
I was really hoping you didn't say fly eagles fly. You didn't. So, good job.
Well, if you want to know the city, sometimes you need to partake in the media and the carousals and parading around. It's very hard to resist.
I certainly do.
I'm sure by the sense of you being here, none of you have felt the beckoning, as it were. You're not that old yet.
Not quite close enough, I don't think.
You understand it, though. Know what it is.
Yes. Addie. Sure you do too.
I'm not that old.
Not that wise. If you were, I imagined you'd been with us from the start.
The Camarilla had better offers from the very beginning.
Yes, I understand that. The Crusade has left us at our absolute reserves, I won't lie. And you're having this talk as he's like getting closer to the point that he wants to be at. Most of our holdings are in reserves. A lot of our power has been gone. You know, it's a shame. At one point we controlled this city. When our Archbishop was still alive. God, that was a rain I wish I could keep seeing. The Anarchs
Made a
had
lot of mistakes.
the Anarchs had no footholdings to get their grubby little paws into. The Camarilla were running scared and were under our heel. Philly was even better than that. It was great. It was our jewel, our crowning jewel.
And what's the point of reminiscing about days past?
Yes. You're right.
I quite agree, Addie. One should strive to live in the future. It's a bold new world.
Exactly, Arthur. And today, I dare say, you'll earn your stripes, as it were.
Oh, won't that be nice?
Because today, we are going to take a very important step in reestablishing the glory of the Black Hand. Our sword has long been dulled. And as he reaches the kind of central point of the cemetery that he wants to be at, he points to an unmarked grave that looks like it's been freshly dug up and then promptly resealed.
Oh dear.
Does it give you nostalgia? Does it feel like home?
It feels like something for sure. So who's the lucky bunny?
Oh, you're soon to meet her. Honestly, was surprised she wasn't already one of our kind, in the way she acts and prowls around.
That bodes well. And you're expecting us to do what exactly?
For now, just watch. And as he says just watch, we kind of cut to underground, where Evelyn, you can feel your eyes starting to slowly open. The cold earth is solidly cemented around you. You're not sure what's going on per se. You don't feel like yourself. You feel like maybe something a little bit more, but you can't really think about it because you're buried alive.
My first instinct is to try and stay calm. Biggest thing that sees people die in these situations is that they panic and they do something stupid. I squeeze my eyes back shut and try and just flex my fingers and arms enough that I can feel where I am.
It's dirt, very loose dirt and soil, definitely fresh, but you're covered in it, and it kind of squeezes between your fingertips and the webs and cracks of your hand.
I start to make very small little scraping movements with my fingernails. I know that I need to get my head up first. And to do that, I need to start pushing the earth down towards my feet. I need to compact it. It's loose. That means I've got some room. I try and focus on breathing, staying calm, and moving my hands in small, scooping movements to push that cold earth as far towards my feet as I can manage.
Slowly but surely, you inch the dirt away from your face, from your head, as you try to push it up and make your way up. I would say your heart is beating very fast, but you don't have one anymore. As the tension is palpable, it feels like you're on 100 cc's of adrenaline pulsing through your brain and your blood.
The fact I can't feel my heart pounding is worrying me. I'm good. I'm good at staying calm, but not usually this good. I know something is wrong, but I try to push the thought aside and focus. And as that kind of space opens up around my head, I just focus on lifting myself a small bit at a time. And as I can lift my head, more earth can go behind me, just little bit by little bit. It's baby steps, but I've got to keep moving.
You feel with your hands, and as you're scraping and kind of trying to resume this momentum, you're taking huge chunks of earth at a time. Your strength is... You feel strong. You feel powerful, but maybe that's just compounded by the fact that the concept thing going through your brain is, am I going to die here? And very much you are well on your way.
The sort of frustration begins to build, like it feels like this is never ending, and the first thought going around my head is I want to know what stupid person from that party decided this was a fun prank. I've been through some stuff in my time, but this is really topping it off, and that kind of frustration is building and building until I sort of think, why not express it? And I let out one long scream as I push my head upwards again.
The scream slightly kind of muffled by the dirt, but the rest of you above can slightly hear it. And Javier kind of looks down, kind of like just tapping his foot. Well, we have a fighter.
Yeah, Adrestia's going. I'm going to just go near where the dirt is, and I'm just squatting and waiting.
And as we cut back to the dirt, that voice telling you, like, you fucking did this to me, it is in your head, but there's another voice that hasn't been there. It's a new arrival, as it were, and it just kind of mutters to you, we are so hungry. We need to eat now.
I keep pushing and clawing and scraping, and that kind of first scream gently curls its way back into me and becomes more of a kind of determined snarl. I continue pushing, and I'm kind of listening out for the sounds of the night to try and understand how far I have left to go. I don't know how deep they've buried me.
If I save us, will you feed me? Can we eat?
Yes. Just get me out.
And you kind of are having this conversation, but you've kind of redoubled your efforts. You're getting faster at it. The dirt is now slowly starting to part. You can hear the rain as it starts to come down from the clouds above, hitting the dirt. The dirt is wet, and it makes it all the more horrible as it slowly starts to turn to mud over the next couple of minutes. But you clear foot by foot, and suddenly you can almost see light breaking through the top.
I didn't think I'd be relieved to be waking up feeling this awful, but here we are. And I kind of just thrust my fingers through that gap where I can see that light.
And you all see it. You see the hand explode outward, visible veins, kind of like from dehydration and malnourishment, just kind of sticking on there, and just everyone looking around. And Javier looks down at it. We have a live one.
Javier.
She made good time.
Bloody
Excellent.
impressive. Yeah.
Please tell me that we have a meal for this young child.
Now. I told you that you would have
Or
to.
you're going to be the meal.
Let's not talk about treason against your priest now. No worries. Arthur, you're the newest one. Why don't you give him a little bit of a pull?
Of course, it would be my pleasure. And Arthur sort of straightens his coat, bimbles his little way over, and just says, well, young madam, I think it's about time you woke up. You've been in there long enough. Grabs her hand and goes to pull her out.
As Arthur's hand grasps mine, like, I grab it so hard, like, my nails dig into the back of his hand, like I'm determined to get out, and I tug back immediately.
Oh, you're pulling back on it. Okay.
Like, to try and help myself up.
Okay. I
like,
thought you were
I'm trying to yank myself upwards.
Yeah. I thought you were like,
You
you're coming back in the grave.
Don't let Arthur crawl back into the earth with you.
well, it tracks, honestly. What else for a night like this,
We'll say that no rolls are needed, and you're able to.
Okay.
Just because we want to make sure that Evelyn gets out as you pull and watch as this whole person just slowly appears from the dirt, kind of like a really fucked up birth.
Sure.
Javier's just clapping and got this ecstatic look on his face.
Arthur sort of gives Javier a look of, a little improper, pulls Evelyn the rest of the way out of dirt, sort of brushing her off. Well, bloody good show, love. Honestly, we thought you'd take a little longer than that, but you've made excellent time. Congratulations.
I'm sorry, you thought I'd take a little longer than that? Which one of you
Yes.
did this? Is this
none of
funny?
us. No. Why would it be funny? Is there a joke? Have I missed a punchline again?
No, I do not believe you have.
Oh, good. Thank you, Amari. I'm always so concerned that I may have missed out on something.
She's just a little confused. She'll get
Indeed.
used to things.
Like a newborn baby seeing the world for the first time.
Welcome. I'm sure things must be awfully confusing, but I do ask you to bear with us. All will become quite plain in time, but for the meanwhile, I do think we should probably get some sustenance for the young one, don't you?
It'd be
You should
preferable to not have
explain
to.
what she is first to her before you bring an actual meal.
Now it's not time for culture shock. Everything will be explained in due time.
Sorry, hang on. Culture shock. That was. She turned around and looked at this hole and. Yeah, sorry. I'm not going anywhere with you people because I don't know you, and that's a fucking hole in the ground that you just pulled me out of. A, how did I get there? B, why? And C, why the hell are you waiting for me?
We call those holes in the ground graves.
Oh, thank you. I'm real glad you cleared that one up. Forgot the word.
All
Now, let's not get ahead of ourselves. I am so sorry. You know what? Where are my manners? My name is Arthur Harris. It is an absolute pleasure to meet you. I dare say you're vaguely familiar. Is there? Have you been around Kensington recently?
Why?
You look
I
a
get
little
there.
familiar.
I go around there occasionally, sure, but
Probably then. Good to know. Amari, would you like to introduce yourself? I don't like to do the honors for other people.
Oh, I'm Amari. You should know me. I have a boat, and it's rather popular. Things happen there.
oh, the party place? Yeah, I don't get over places that nice very often, but I've heard of it.
Yes, it's invite only, but maybe you'll make
An
the list.
invite you don't want to accept.
Do you usually get your patrons from holes in the ground? Sorry, graves, or
honestly, yes. Well, for this organization anyway, it's kind of our staple.
Yes.
I have questions, but I think I'm going to hold off on that. And you? And she points at Addie, who I presume is still crouched on the ground.
Yeah, the moment you point at me, I'm going to just grab like a bunch of dirt and then just sprinkle it all over you. Don't you know it's rude to point at other people? Child.
I am not a child. I am 21.
Now, Addie, play nice.
Addie, cool. Name. That's good to know.
I'm sure
And
everything would be explained in due time, but to give you a little bit of primer, welcome to the most prestigious organization of your unlife.
hang on. Sorry, you used a unlife?
Prestigious? Oh, unlife. Yes.
No, I know
You're
prestigious.
dead.
Like,
Indeed. That is a
You're
doorknob.
dead.
You haven't noticed you haven't been breathing this whole time, no?
Heart hasn't been beating.
oh, all right, yeah, that's a good one. Was the what Patrick put you up to this? He told you about that kind of phobia stuff, or like, no,
You have a phobia of death, darling.
no.
Good, because that would make your existence rather troublesome. No, see, we mean that quite in the literal sense. You are no longer alive. You have deceased. You are a post-mortal. You are no longer upon this mortal coil. Am I getting through?
You have evolved into a greater existence than your previous one. Indeed, this is the glorious occasion.
And Amari kicks on Eyes of the Beast just to be like,
Yeah.
Evelyn like just sort of almost catches herself a minute, like as that she kind of starts and then tries not to. Nice trick. What, like lenses? The light? Is there a? And she starts like looking around for like a street light that would do that.
I might be able to offset this as the rest of you can kind of feel like a snaking wind from the bottoms of your feet. As Evelyn, you feel something snake up your body, something that looks like literal darkness, and it wraps itself around your throat for a minute and tightens. Not too much that you can't breathe, not that you really breathe, but enough that you can feel that it's there.
Still have questions.
And
Now, Javier, let's not scare the poor girl.
oh, it's fear. Fear is excellent. Fear is what drives us. And Javier lifts you up with his arms, as it were, staring into kind of his blacked out eyes as he takes his sunglasses off. Now, you have been scouted as a great asset. I will say that I did not have a hand in your making of Unlife, so if you have a grudge and a feud to make with your sire, that is on your own time, and that is something I dare say we will aid you with. But in the time being, we have taken you into our family, and you will be protected and fed, and you will be taught here. Now, you could have easily been dumped with the rest of the rabble and the trash, or you could have been dumped with those monsters in the ivory tower who probably would have killed you for who you are. But God has brought you to us, into our holy coven. So I dare say, welcome in to the Sabbat. And then he probably drops you.
I'm going to catch her with rapid reflex.
I can be nice. I'm still at it, you know?
Yes.
I catch her, and then the moment you guys say that, I immediately drop her and then just go back to crouching.
Oh, Adrestia. Honestly, manners. Arthur will go over and help Evelyn up again. I'm so sorry about all this. I truly am. I say that. I'm not really. Anyway, time's a wasting. I would say we don't have all night, but in fact, we kind of do. And every night from now as well. How fun. Welcome. Now, shall we get on with things?
Of
We're rather
course.
busy.
Yes. Now time to talk business, as it were. Now that we've had this new little pledging, or shovelhead as it's been rudely called upon us at the past. There's no
I don't
shovels
like that
involved.
term.
I don't like it either. I think it's
No,
Not my
crass and
favorite.
rude for our rituals.
very crass.
I don't think my head is that flat.
No.
It's not, darling, it's not.
You
a
will
trifle
be
gauche.
the belle of the ball when we are done with you.
Yes, I
Now.
will get you all dolled up. It's easy.
You will.
Now, sure, right about now, you're feeling a little bit peckish, as it were. Peckish is it's definitely underestimate for what you're feeling right now. Oh, feeling hungry, are we? Good, good, good. We won't have to go through any of this. Oh, can I or can I not? Oh, my mortal moralities present me from understanding a food based higher than my own. Well, good, we don't have to deal with those flows. Now, the three of you, welcome the newest member and welcome each other to your pack.
Oh,
Oh,
is that what we're doing? Okay. Well,
Yes, as I said, it is time for us to stop merely using the titles of being a Sabbat and actually acting on it.
well, how fun.
I usually work alone.
Oh, no. Drestia, Hattie, you are in a whole new world now. You don't have the protections of the Camarilla anymore. You don't walk amongst their street wearing their flag. No, we are the outliers. We are the rebels, and dare I say, we are being hunted.
Addie, you're gonna love this.
Mm.
But you need us.
Oh no, that's too good. Oh no, that's too good. You can't be saying these things before midnight.
That prince up in his ivory tower, wherever that bastard the architect is. Well, once they find out that the Sabbat rots have crawled out of their places once more, we'll be on the path of extermination.
Sorry. Hi. You're using a whole lot of words, and I get that I'm going to pick that up. That's fine. But you also said I was picked for this, so I'm a little confused about what exactly you think I'm supposed to be doing here. It seems like you guys know each other, and that's great, but I've got friends, so I'd like to go home now. Thanks.
We could send you home. It'd be the same cycle as always. You go home, you get a little hungry, you drain one of your family members dry, you run out into the streets, and if you weren't executed by the Camarilla or the police, you'd find your way back to us. But in fact, yes, you were chosen. We wanted to take you ourselves, but unfortunately someone else beat us to it. But don't worry, we took care of them. For sure, now you're with us. You have what we call a mind seen once in a generation.
Yes, and I would prefer to you not kill your whole family. I mean, I killed my whole village. Still kind of sticks with me just a smidgen.
That makes sense. Yeah.
When Jesus called his apostles, did you think they thought for a second, should I leave my families behind? Probably, yes. But they did so, and they did it with pride, and they did it with glory. No, I asked you to do the same. Become our newest apostle.
Welcome to
Yes.
So, what exactly am I supposed to be believing in here? Disciples and all that shit.
If I may.
You guys are all confusing the child or the shovelhead.
We
what
don't use
you
that
call-
term. Don't like that term.
If I may,
Right.
should we simply show her with a small practical? I'm afraid explaining it in the abstract may not do it justice.
Of course. Go and take your newest member of your pact and get her some food. Get her cleaned up. And then meet me back at the Fairmount Waterworks before the end of the night, so we can complete the rites of the pact.
All right. Well, won't this be fun? Come along then. I've forgotten your name already. Honestly, I'm terrible.
Evelyn.
Evelyn. Fantastic. Right, shall we?
You
And
know,
she walks off towards the street.
If Evelyn doesn't start walking, Amari's gonna kick on all.
Yeah.
I'ma stop Evelyn from going forward first, and then just like put up a hand, and you're like, all right, here's the deal. You're dead. You're a vampire. Now you're going to eat someone. Let's go.
Huh. Cool. And Evelyn kind of just falls into stride with her
Yeah.
and keeps going.
And you look back at Javier, who's there 1 second and then is just gone the next.
I really need to get Javier to teach me that.
It's very cool.
Does he do that to everyone?
Yeah. It's a kind of rite of passage thing. Yes.
Yeah, it's you just hear thinking, yeah, it's called hazing.
Javier!
At least he didn't leave the marks around your neck. I've seen it happen to some of the young ones.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
There's not, is there?
No, you're
my
fine.
God. I had a bag. Where did I
Oh, God.
sod it?
And as the four of you leave the cemetery and head to the new place. A place where you can properly feed. You arrive pulling up in separate cars and separate modes of transportation up to the piers along Delaware Avenue, where you see, Omari, a very familiar yacht that stands almost as your precious baby, right?
Ah, yes. Home sweet home.
Is there music coming from the yacht? Is it fairly silent?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
It is.
It is lit up.
Pumping.
Yeah, it is lit up like the 4th of July, as it were. Everything is going. There are people coming in and out. There are, I'm guessing, security at the door or at the ramp.
Oh, absolutely. Because it's invite only.
There's a methodical group of people that are standing out, mortals for sure. Their blood smells so fresh to you, Evelyn, as you are kind of deposited in this whole new situation, overloading your senses. You're getting hungrier by the second, and you can hear the voice going, "Come on, we need to eat, we need to eat, I'm so hungry, please."
You guys will just see Evelyn like occasionally like clenching her teeth and just like
Kid.
breathing through it, like
We're
just
getting-
like this is fine, this is fine. Like,
And Arthur just makes a pointed look at Adrestia and like nods to her to go and stand beside Evelyn in case she freaks out.
Yeah. I'll follow.
I walk up and I'm like,
Andres.
these are my
I'll
guests.
follow
Do you have like a usual security guard, or are they no names?
Oh, no names. I don't
Okay.
really know my security. They just exist there.
They take a step to the side, ushering and allowing you in. So I'm guessing it goes you. Who's second, Evelyn?
Yeah,
Okay.
we'll be ushering Evelyn in as soon as possible.
They tell you to watch your step. And as you're about halfway up the ramp, you can hear with all your enhanced senses, you hear someone in the crowd go, "Fucking, oh shit, I cut myself!" And the fresh wafting of blood smell goes through the air, and particularly intoxicating to you, Evelyn.
Adrestia,
I have a
see.
place. We just have to get below deck.
It's harder to take every step as you are very hungry, and you're not sure if you can wait anymore.
As I sort of like that smell washes over me and I close my eyes, I want to concentrate on it and see what my new bloodhound senses tell me about that blood.
Ooh. Yeah, as you're kind of like wafting, and you're like, ooh, definitely someone who is a partier. Not very much of a drinker, but definitely a recreational user of pills and other variety of herbs. Not something that's incredibly tainted, not an addict or say just someone trying to take the edge off. Oh, it smells delicious.
I know that kind. And instinctively sort of turn my head in that direction and just take a step in that direction.
Yeah, I'm grabbing Amari's belt from him.
Like
Like
off his
without
body?
any permission, just like all off his body, like
Just snatches his belt off.
yeah. You'd
Jesus.
feel my hands around you and then just belt is gone.
Okay.
And then I'm just like preparing, waiting for Evelyn to like actually lose it.
Now, Evelyn, you are frenzied currently. You are very, very hungry. Would you like to resist?
I'm gonna try, but only because I really don't like being out of control.
Go ahead.
But the smell is
Yeah,
intoxicating.
Roll your willpower. And then
It's
also,
willpower. It's a willpower and third of humanity, isn't it?
yeah, it's willpower plus a third of your humanity. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not bad.
Frenzy check.
5 successes.
Ah, beautiful, perfect.
Crushed it.
Your first roll of the game. I love it. You tell your beast, you're like, no, not right now. We'll wait, and you squash and you quell it for a second. You take it back into the deepest part of your body, and you cage it up there just for a little bit. But it is thrashing about. It won't take long before it's back out again.
You'd hear a snap behind you, clack, as I just snap the belt. Keep moving.
Go on, dear.
Nobody ever asks, do they? And she just keeps walking.
Yeah, I'm taking her below decks to my little herd. Sonia is at the ready.
And yes, you have, as you enter onto the SS Perfection, and you're kind of like walking by, you see this multi-level yacht, and it has everything. There's a dance floor, there's a club, there's a fully stocked bar, people are about talking, and just, if the blood alone wasn't intoxicating, the atmosphere surely would. For some of you, this is probably the first time you've been at a place such as this. I don't know if Arthur ever frequents clubs or not, but it is loud and cacophonous. It is not like your Kensington bookstore. It's not like, occasionally you might hear
Nothing
gunfire.
like that.
Yeah. Or,
Hey, I'm a Tremere, not a nun. Alright.
it is.
What's the difference?
Wow.
It feels nice though. You're thinking to yourself. You're like, wow, like I can get used to a place like this.
Yes.
And definitely you're rolling with some higher end kindred now. And as you're kind of going through, do you take them to like the private room?
Oh yeah,
somewhere? Okay.
yeah.
Do they
There's a feeding room. Essentially.
Do they see the surgery room on their way there?
No, the surgery room is hidden.
Okay.
That's private.
Yeah, it looks like a normal yacht of hedonists and orgies going on, but it's fine. Just a typical, night in Philly. And as you go to the feeding room, what does the feeding room look like, Amari?
It looks like almost like a VIP lounge. It is very comfortable, relaxed. Lights are dimmed low. Big, large couches, a table. But there's no like bar or anything like in this room. It is almost like a place you can go and take a nap away from everything else. The sound is very much muffled in here from the outside. You still hear sounds, but it's a lot louder.
Awesome. And everyone greets you as you walk in, like or not as they greet you, they pay their respects, they nod to you, because this is your yacht, this is your club, this is your domain, your haven.
Oh yeah, and it's covered. The walls are covered in paintings, all done by Mario himself, and they're grotesque, absolutely grotesque. Scenes of both debauchery and destruction, people being torn apart and rebuilt.
And Evelyn, kind of, you're thinking to yourself, well, you would love to see this place covered in graffiti at one point in time.
These paintings are crying out for some additions. Like, she's always, as she's walking past, like, reaching out towards the frames and just skirting a finger across the occasional painting, tracing a line where she thinks this could really do with just a piece of red here. That kind of thing.
I will turn your fingers into bones.
Addie, as you kind of in your head, this feels an awfully a lot about like the pleasures of Elysium and like what the Camarilla would have. They would have, their riches amassed in this kind of classical sense. it very much feels like something the Caine would do, not something that you would see in a member of the Sabbat kind of indulging themselves. Do you feel a little bit at home? Do you feel disgusted? How do you feel going on with this yacht?
I've been in Amari's yacht plenty of times before. And in my opinion, the Sabbat and the Camarilla have no difference at all. They're just the same two sides of one coin.
And as you all kind of settle in, you call over one of your more respected herds.
Mm-hmm.
And is there usually any talking done when this happens? Is there any pleasantries between the both of you, or is it just simply like down to business?
Oh, it is pleasant. It's like, please, my dearest, I have a new guest. This one might be a little rough.
Of course. And she takes a seat next to you, Evelyn. And what'd you say her name was, Omari?
Sonia.
Hi, dear. And she kind of takes your hand, and her hand kind of clasping it. My name's Sonia. What is your name?
And she looks like Sonya Blade from Mortal Kombat.
Oh my god, amazing.
So almost like a plasticky look to her.
Mm-hmm.
Nice to meet you, Sonia. You smell really good. I'm
you.
Evelyn. Nice to meet you.
Don't let him. Daddy.
No, it's fine. This is not my first rodeo. It's okay. I don't bite. Although I know you will.
Evelyn looks towards Addie and is sort of, you weren't kidding, huh?
No.
Her arm in front of you.
Would you like me to make this a little bit easier for you? And she kind of like pulls her hair back, exposes her neck, and she actually perfumes the side of her neck, the spot. She goes, "No, I always make sure it smells good, it tastes good. I always eat proper diet set forth by Amari to make sure our blood is, well, as nourishing and tasty as possible.
You're perfect, my dear. You're perfect.
I pride myself on being the finest vintage."
Okay. I guess this is happening. And Evelyn kind of, after like just a bit of hesitation, gives in to the smell of it and leans in.
Yeah, and it's almost like you go on autopilot for a second, because it's like a magnet. When it gets too close to metal, it's like there's nothing, and then boom, there's just suddenly a pull, and you're at it again. And you feel your teeth sink into the side of her neck, very traditionally so. The rest of you would know that's not always how it happens, but to this point in time, sometimes cliches are there for a reason. How does it feel to you, Evelyn? How does it taste?
The rush of it is kind of what hits me first. I'm used to gulping back drinks a little too quickly on nights out, that kind of thing, but this is different. It's thick and coppery, and something about the way it goes down doesn't burn my throat, it soothes it. It's like that kind of snarling that's been sitting in the back of my head since I first woke up in that hole actually starts to calm down and curl up and purr gently in the back of my head instead. There's a kind of pleasantness to just letting go and not thinking about it too much. And I feel sort of calmer and calmer as those sort of seconds tick by.
It tastes delicious. The way as the blood, it tastes like the finest of wines. It tastes like a water being given to someone who hasn't drank it in weeks. Your thirst feels quenched, but not ever too quenched as you remove a dot of hunger, and then you continue to drink. And yeah, you can hear Sonia kind of curl up as well, moans being caught and stifled in her throat, as she definitely is enjoying this. It's a very sensual experience, or maybe it would be more so if there wasn't 3 other people sitting there and watching you, like, you know, like a doctor watches their patient, or 3 proud homeowners watch their pet.
Arthur is very much stood about 15 feet back away from the arterial spurt so it doesn't get on his jacket. And he's just whipped out a small leather-bound notebook and is just taking notes on occasion, just looking up, adjusting his spectacles, and then taking another note.
Are you a messy eater, Evelyn, you think?
I don't think she's had time to think about how to do this. Like, the only context she has for what's happening is that it's something related to vampires. And she knows that this biting on her neck thing is normal, but she doesn't know what to expect from that. Mm-hmm. So I don't imagine she's actually been prepared for the reality of it.
Yeah.
So I do think there's going to be it's not going to be pretty. The sort of blood and I imagine mingling with the sort of mud stains that are already all over her clothes and her face and under her nails. And yeah, it's not going to be pretty.
There's a reason the room's kind of dark here.
As the blood kind of cascades around, you could feel it filling your mouth. Addie, you were gonna say something? I'm sorry.
No. I was just coughing in disgust with this about this room.
Yeah, you're biting, you're almost gnawing at her neck, and it definitely looks like an impressive wound, as kind of like vestiges of her blood kind of stain her dress that she's wearing as it kind of goes down her neck. And as it stains as well, mixing with your mud, and like it's not as messy as it can be, but it definitely isn't a pretty sight as your flesh seems to just be mashed against each other by the neck and mouth. And you can slate another hunger as you go down from 5 all the way down to 3, and you let her continue to do this.
I'm gonna give a glance to Amari.
Around 1 more. We'll let her
Alright.
for a few minutes.
And Sonia is enjoying it. She's, like I said, she's at this point in time, she's unraveling a bit. Her body is moving in contortions, almost having like mini movements. And you could smell the enhancedness of her blood. You can see that Amari has really taken amazing stock around here. And even though the other herd have kind of, the ones that are not occupied right now, are looking around and staring at the spectacle in front of them, occasionally darting their eyes away if you were to turn around though. Now when we get to the most important part, as you slate your hunger down from 2 to 1, you could feel, if you really wanted to, you could take this all away. You could drain her dry and she would be nothing but a beautiful porcelain corpse, but you would be full. You're almost full. You're still hungry though. What do you do?
I think in that moment, all I'm thinking about is how much easier everything has felt as I've fed. And I think feeling better and stronger and calmer, I don't think I know any better than to try and stop.
And she keeps drinking.
I'm going to intervene there. And immediately use the belt to just wrap it around her neck and then just pull her off.
Okay, is anyone else joining in, or just Addie?
It's just me.
I'll let Addie do it.
It's just me.
I'm sure she's got this.
You can go ahead and
If she doesn't, she'll be replaced.
go ahead and give me a strength plus we'll say melee, even though you're not trying to hurt Evelyn, but you are trying to pry her off, as it were. Evelyn, you can go ahead and resist with a strength and athletics.
That is a 5. That's
5.
not a crit. Damn.
2 successes.
All right, you are unable to keep on your prey as your fangs are completely out. Your face is mottled with this just stains of blood that's dripping from it as Addie just yanks you off, belt around the neck, right? You said,
Yeah.
like a like a rabid dog getting it away from something it's not supposed to be eating or swallowing.
And Evelyn is fully like pulling back, like there is snarling, she's reaching out, like she's occasionally scratching at the belt to try and get it away from her. She's not happy.
Amari grabs Sonya, licks the wound close, hands her off to one of the.
Oh yeah, she looks woozy as hell, and they take her away to a room where she can recuperate. You know, they're pretty nice here.
Well done.
It takes a second for the hunger to subside, the frenzy, but you do eventually, Evelyn, after being restrained for a couple minutes of just like trying to tear out of this belt in Addie's grasp and Amari's grasp, your rage does subside, your frenzy.
Cool, right?
I feel better.
I'm gonna take the belt off of her neck. Just
Thank you.
And there's a visible mark there.
Like a duck to water, my dear. I dare say you'll get along just fine.
So that's okay. Not normal. That's how you. Do I have to find people? Do I just feed here?
Oh, sometimes, but not always.
See, that's the fun bit about starting out in this brand new world, is that now, having sort of gotten through, well, I would say one of the most messy bits of your first evening, you can decide where to go from here. There are many ways to slake one's thirst. If you do not wish to find a living vessel, there are ways you could what's the parlance here? You could train yourself to eat something a little less moving. But in this way, it is a chance to find your own taste, kind of like finding your new favorite wine.
Just a moment. You're gross. I have to make a call. I'm going to. And Amari steps away and makes a call to get someone to bring her nice wear for being around a place like this.
Absolutely, sir. You hear coming from the other as we'll be there in just a moment. You know, being on their VIP list, they have an assortment of clothing that they can bring and services.
It gets a little dirty here, so we're prepared for situations.
You have a contact just basically with like a place down the street that's able to provide you with this, and very quickly you're getting something ushered over as about 20 minutes pass and you hear a knock on the door.
Please come in.
Security ushers in a carrier who, dressed in a nice suit, just kind of brings you this long black fabric bag, you know, where you keep clothing, and just hands it off.
It should be several outfits for you here. Take that.
Thanks. She immediately like unzips it and starts rifling through to be like, what is in here that she would even consider wearing?
It's pretty fancy. It's probably leaning on the upper end of like fancy dresses and pantsuits and well, probably more like a BDSM type of stuff in there as well, because like just in case. Uh,
I imagine that like there's a lot of what's in here is fancier than most of the stuff Evelyn ever has like been near, and she's like, you can see that there's kind of this excitement growing as she's filtering through things. Like she's like, there's a look on her face that's kind of like, yeah, I could get used to this. This isn't so bad, you know, like picking out things and laying them on the side next to her and just fussing as she looks.
Shower first.
there is a shower. There might be things going on in the shower. Can't help you on that. Just don't look if you don't want to.
And if I'm still a little bit hungry, not even a little bit.
You see, there are, as well as getting used to new ways of eating, there are also new rules that you must acclimatize yourself to, I'm afraid. One of them being a little thing that we like to call the Masquerade, which is why you have had no idea that any of this is real. Your whole life, this entire charade of the undead walking amongst the living has indeed existed, and yet you've been none the wiser. And that's because we keep as far under the radar as possible for the most part. Of course, sometimes it's fun to not do that, but you have to pick your moments. And whilst in another kindred's domain, oh yes, also that's another important point. We don't really use the word vampire, we use kindred. You'll get used to it. We don't hunt.
So his house, his rules.
His house, his rules, exactly.
Cool, I hate it. I'm gonna wear this. And she picks up a dress and heads out towards the shower.
Knock first, dear.
I don't. Some of them like that.
Fair.
What are the three of you going to do as Evelyn gets changed, cleaned up?
Mari's like, so Addie, how'd you all do this in the Camarilla? Did you tell them all the spooky secrets, like, oh, you can eat garlic still, but you probably just don't know. You don't really have to worry about crosses or running water. Normally, back in my day, we just take them out and we just send them on a killing mission. That was fun.
The whole time he's talking, Addie's just staring at him and not speaking. None. No reply at all, just stare.
Try.
Mum's the word, I suppose. Oh dear. Well, I for one find the organisation hilarious. Perhaps 2 years away from collapsing under the weight of its own rot. Maybe 10. Maybe 100.
I'd hoped we could accelerate it.
Oh, wouldn't that be fun?
We could definitely do that.
Oh, she can speak. Look at you. Why are you here, Addie? What did you do?
It's quite the move. The height of the ivory tower.
What did I do? Have you guys not heard anything from the Camarilla about what I did do? And I thought I made a grand exit.
It's complicated. I tend to stay out of their way, and once you stopped coming around my boat, I figured everything was fine with the camera.
Well, the Camarilla is certainly not gonna be happy with me when we show up once again. That's for certain. I have sort of ate their primogen. The
Which
multiple
one? Oh dear. Well.
Oh, I'm
And
sure
I
that game's
may have. You might have heard of the old Elysium of the Prince burning down. His favorite one, that might have been me.
Ah, that was your good work, was it?
And that's just the start.
I like that place.
Fucking hate it.
Gone now.
Is there anything you do like, Addy?
You guys like to talk.
Oh yeah.
I don't
Great.
like talkers.
Oh dear. Well, I'm sure we'll all become fast friends in time. Don't worry about it.
I could make it so you like me, but that would be complicated.
I'm sure it'd be quite enthralling, though.
Addie, you see the world a little bit differently when you talk to them. Where they might just see the three of you sitting here talking in a room waiting, and you're very much more aware of your spatial, as you can kind of see from each of them. You just imagine little lines and webbing kind of snaking across the room like cracks in a mirror, like highways on a road, leading to infinite possibilities of how this could go down and what could possibly happen. You imagine, what is it if you just cut ties right here, if you just attacked one of them and ran for the door? Does it end with you getting promptly shot and staked? Does it end with you making a jump for the water? Does it end with the Camarilla catching you right as you exit the yacht, now not being under the protection of the spot? You're not entirely sure, but kind of at the center of it, if you watch as everything spirals out, you can follow the spiral back, and you can smell as a memory kind of comes and implants itself in your head. The memory of fire, of screams, of burning flesh, the memory of what happened on that day, and why you're here today.
Guess I have to tolerate all of you.
Oh, I'm touched. You're gonna tolerate me.
She used the word tolerate. Blimey, I didn't think it would live to see the day.
Might be right. We might be able to become friends with her.
Maybe. The night is young. The night is young.
And as we kind of switch the scenes really quick, the camera kind of pans over a few rooms over, and we see Evelyn, you're in the shower, and kind of as you're looking through, you can kind of see in the mist, but not obscured, but not totally covered over. You can see various bodies entwined on the other ends, and you can kind of hear their sounds kind of cacophonously breaking through. It's a little awkward for a second, but really the thing that your eyes might focus on is your own body. As you can see, your skin has cleared itself up of any blemishes, as it's noticeably paler this time around, as if all the blood was drained from you. Very much looking like a ghostly, perfect crystal version of yourself. Even the marks of dirt as they clear away from your fingertips, where you were kind of scraping, and at one point your nails were peeling back from all the digging. They have begun to reseal up now with the addition of blood and your hunger being sated. You can see your body slowly starting to even repair itself. It's kind of an amazing watch, as it's almost like time is reversing back. Even the marks of the belt on your neck from Addie are starting to unbruise. Oh, you are muted on mine. Give me 1 second.
Oh, there we go.
There.
That's me. There's a quiet fascination to all of that for me. Like, I'm sort of, as I'm sort of looking over myself, there's things like a graze on my forearm from where I'd landed a jump wrong a couple of days ago is not there anymore, and feeling smooth skin under my fingers rather than that kind of bumpy, dry graze that I'd become used to is strange. But it feels good. I definitely feel awash with that strength that I didn't think I had in me. And something about that improvement makes me feel excited. And it's so much more interesting than anything else happening in the room as far as I'm concerned. Like, I am just staring at myself enthralled about all these changes.
And when Javier said that you were evolving into another person, you kind of at the time thought he was just speaking a lot of bullshit, but maybe, just maybe, there is a sense of rightness in it all.
Every little thing that's happening is making me more convinced that they were not taking the piss with everything they were saying, little bit by little bit. It's believable and comforting, which I think is the first time I've felt stable comfort in a while. And I kind of want to say that. I don't take too long, though, because I sort of feel like I have more questions. And if these kind of events are happening in such quick succession, I'm kind of want to know what happens next. I want to know what it is they had planned and what's supposed to be going on now. And I don't want to miss out on that just because I took a little bit too long in the shower preening.
Time passes about like another 15, 20 minutes to half an hour, and Evelyn returns, dressed up, cleaned up, not looking like the dirt entombed child that you saw just a couple hours prior.
Much
Good shower. Yeah, good shower. That was nice. Thanks. So, what next?
Question.
We figure out what you are first. As what's next.
What I am? Didn't you already tell me about that?
Not exactly. You see, when we're embraced, something of a family, a clan, if you will. And each of us have our own proclivity, power. And we don't know which one we came from. So we have to figure out what we do.
Okay, we're gonna climb on.
Addie is a good climber. A great climber.
In more ways than one.
Addie
Okay.
also punch a hole through your person.
I don't think I can do that, but I haven't tried, so.
And I could close that hole. An armored version of your skin.
Huh. How do you find out you can do that?
It's in the blood. It's weird thing to say, but it is. Blood will start to get you.
Okay.
I don't suspect we'll find out everything tonight.
So, how are you proposing that you find out what I can do and what I am?
Storyteller.
Mhm.
Do I know any other Tremere in our little organization?
Sabbat wise?
Mm-hmm.
Seeing as like you've been kind of separate, all of you, like there really hasn't been any official meetings. You're not sure, but you would know that the last time that you were that when you were embraced and you had to do the same exact thing, that the Sabbat actually did identify for you, and that's probably a rite that would be taking place tonight.
Well, at least one thing we don't necessarily have to worry about tracking down. When we meet up again with our dear friend Javier, he will make it known to all of us exactly just who you belong to. Until then, I suppose the question comes of what happens to you now? As a young blood to this city, really anything is possible. However, you are going to have to find somewhere to reside during the sunlight hours. You will find very quickly that if you are still outside when the sun comes up, you will have a very bad time.
I have an apartment.
I'm afraid that might not be enough.
During your day sleep, as we call it, you turn into a literal corpse. And we don't want your family members to suddenly stumble upon your body, bring you outside in the sun by calling 911 or something, and burning you to a crisp right there.
I live alone, so there's that problem sorted.
Yes, however, is your apartment sufficiently blacked out? Do you have extremely heavy blinds?
My bedroom's on the inside of the building. It's only the living room that has a window.
Well, that might be that sorted for you then. However, of course, there is the slightly irritating factor that you are now going to have to live very differently than you once did. So, should you find your apartment becomes a space that you do not feel comfortable with anymore or does not fit your new lifestyle, I'm sure we can find you something more appropriate.
Yeah, I can
Okay.
get you a nice coffin.
Yeah, I'm sure it'd be real fancy. Allowed to get mud in that one?
Well, spicy are we? That's good. It's good. Maybe you can deal with Annie then.
Maybe.
I'm surrounded by talkers.
Oh, poor dear.
She just wants to
Great.
murder, I think. Yeah, I think she's losing the fight to her beast. You know what the beast is, don't you?
Have you talked to it yet?
Has it talked to you?
I heard something talk to me about how hungry I was. Okay, why are you looking at me like that? That's not a fun look. Can we maybe not do that? I'm new. I don't.
Oh, no.
Think of it as the devil on your shoulder.
Exactly. Besides, there's no look. This is simply, you're doing very well. And honestly, this is one of the best acclimatizations I've seen in, a minute. So,
Yeah.
good.
Sometimes we all go wild and we eat you.
Yes, sometimes that does have to happen.
Huh. I mean, I've been accused of a lot of things. I'm not usually very patient. I don't usually stick things out, but I like to choose when to lose control of myself, and I guess that's still true.
Good.
It might have been why you got picked by whoever it was that did the picking.
Indeed. That would be rather nice to find out, don't you think?
Yeah, I do kind of want to know who did this. I'm not keen on waking up in a hole.
I have to say, I am intrigued. Why now? Why you? Huh. Well, more questions than answers right now. Shall we resolve some of those?
Uh-huh. Yeah, I think I'd like that. I think I'm done with this little, circle where you all stare at me and ask questions.
There'll be more time for that in the future, I'm sure. Come along now. Arthur sort of puts his arm around her, leads her out.
And Amari, and with like a flourish, reaches out his hand to Addie. Come along.
I'm gonna completely ignore that hand and just stand up.
What she expected.
And the four of you exit the SS Perfection. And as you do, Evelyn, you're sort of you came in a dirty mess covered in dirt, and now you're leaving a whole new different type of predator in the food chain. So much so that when the group starts to leave, you can see actually a few photos being taken of your entourage as you all leave, because everyone knows the enigmatic club owner, Amari, but no one knows very much of the company that he keeps.
I'm tossing on awe and walking very close to Evelyn, just so that the attention will flow our way.
Yeah, and all eyes are on you. And even
I'm not gonna be part of this. I'm gonna be off the stage and unseen passage walking away.
Evelyn notices this kind of magnetism coming from next to her, and it almost bolsters her confidence a little, and you can see her she rounds her shoulders and straightens herself a little, and her own awe activates as well, but it comes out as a kind of just beaming smile, and she just as Amari's walking next to her, she just sort of takes one step closer and is yeah, I'm gonna be part of this too, just complete.
And Arthur's just falling behind.
I'm hanging back with Addy at this point. At the nearest point that he can duck into the crowd, he's just cool, my work here is done.
It's funny because you might think yourself, you're oh, this is a little bit much, right, Addie? And then you turn around and Addie's just gone.
Yeah. I hate it when they do that. Still, on with the show.
And you all take off to go to the Fairmount Waterworks. Well, you'll be hopefully able to complete your rites as a pact. Our pact, our newly formed pact as it were, but still not fully initiated, ends up at a familiar place for some, a strange, almost fantastical place for others as you arrive at Fairmount Water Parks. The old architecture that has been built on the waterside is beautiful. It's tall, Romanesque in its pillars that kind of adorn the top of it, kind of off gray and white stone and marble adjoin and decorate the area. Even during the day it looks beautiful, but even at night there's a little bit of somberness as some of the lights, just the auxiliary lights around it, have been lit up slowly kind of and softly illuminating the surrounding area. And the calmness and the hustle bustle of city is juxtaposed to the gentleness of the water that seems to flow very, very slowly in either direction. You're not entirely sure which. And of course, backdrop by the amount of dead trees and fall and orange hues, makes this for a very pleasant sight. And kind of going in, not even inside, because most of the waterworks is outside, you see under one of their kind of large temple-esque structures, you can spot Javier, who is waiting there. Next to him, a basin of some sort that he has seemingly filled with water. Ah, lovely. We've all arrived. And, my dear, you look stunning, should I say. Is your awe still up, Evelyn?
Yeah, I don't think she'll learn how to take that down. She's just enjoying the attention at this point.
Majestic.
Amari drops it, so it's it's not me.
Oh, I can only guess who you might be. So I take it the feeding went perfectly fine. Bodies disposed of and everything.
Oh, went perfectly to spec. Actually, nothing to dispose of.
Ah, excellent, excellent. Although I'm a little bit sad, I love hearing first-time feedings and the mess it is. There's something feral and something beautiful in the bodies we leave behind sometimes. Caine would be proud.
There'll be plenty of time.
Of course, there'll be plenty of more, and we'll need that ferociousness for other tasks to come. But today is a glorious occasion. We have not formed together a Sabbat Pak in quite some time. Tell me, are you all ready to truly take the step into becoming a Sabbat?
Yes, of course.
Yes.
Now, before we begin, I just want to state that, Evelyn, this is your, as you call, probationary period. You are not what we would call a true Sabbat and do not enjoy all the benefits, as it were, so far, but in time you will be able to. Arthur, as well, is on probationary period. But I do say so, Arthur, that if you are to complete the task that I will give you on this night and the rest of your pack, you will be indebted and intertwined within our Sabbat as a true member.
No, bully for that.
Same with you as well, Adrestia. You can be like our very own Amari here, a true Sabbat, a long-lived member who has been supported over the years, as sure as you can tell by his holdings and his wealth. Well, I guess that is for another time. Let's get this situation started then, Evelyn. Reach out your hand. And he grips it tightly. You could tell in his like sharp nails is the kind of dig in. He's very rough as he from his pocket pulls out a long, slender looking dagger that is ornated with various rubies and other jewels and just like silver chrome handle. And he weighs its properties for a second before slowly.
Whoa! Sorry. Do you have to do that?
Of course, tradition is tradition, as it is, and this will be our way of identifying what you are.
Arthur just gives her like an encouraging nod behind Javier's shoulder, just.
I look over to Amari and just like armored skin, right? We'll talk later, and then turn back. Like, okay, fine.
But with it, there's a lesson I must teach you. You see, us kindred, we are all descendants of the same father, Caine. Caine was the first vampire. When he killed his brother, he was marked by it, by the very entity that you might call God above, and with it, his lineage began. You see, Caine had many sons. These sons were known as the bastard antediluvians. Sons of Caine, as it were. And from each of these lines, each of these sons, came a new bloodline in the Kidron gene. Every kindred can trace themselves back to one of the antediluvians. And it is in the Sabbat's way that we evolve past our forefathers. And we do what any self-respecting predator would. Yes, kill your fathers, as it were. It is the will of Caine. But now we must see what bloodline you belong to. And you see, I'm very, very hoping we have another crown in our group. It would be just glorious, but maybe we have ourselves a scepter and sword.
Hope not.
Yes. And he takes the dagger and just like across your palm, he just slowly slides it and just like effortlessly like butter. It really actually doesn't even hurt that much. You're very resistant to the pain as it slices your skin open deep enough that your vitae begins to bubble to the surface. and he makes sure to collect it, making the indents on the sword fill with your blood before lifting it away.
Don't worry, you can will it closed.
Uh-huh.
He drops your hand and takes a second before letting a single drop from the dagger fall upon his tongue. The Tavier tasted almost like a wine. Good blood, strong blood, well fed. And he lets the remainder of the blood from the dagger drip into the basin. A long time ago, this dagger was gifted to us, made for us, in identifying the bloodlines of Caine by a very exceptional Tremere, who is unfortunately no longer with us. And as the blood kind of oils itself and kind of disperses into the basin of water, you see the kind of smoke begin to eject upward from it as the water begins to boil to the surface. And instead of like smelling that harsh smell, you smell something sweet, like lavender and lilac and roses, as the water begins to turn red and you start feeling a like comforting mist begin to rise out of it. Oh, excellent, excellent, excellent. I should have known from when you walked in today that that would be your bloodline.
Did I pass? Is this like a test? Or...
No. The only dare say I think that would have been a problem is if the basin and the water cracked in spiderweb, because you know having two Malkavians in a group is probably a little bit too much already. No offense. You have been deemed. You have been deemed the bloodline of Toreador.
Oh, right.
Like the bullfighters?
Sure.
Now there's two of us.
Ah, congratulations, Amari.
A kid.
The 3 talkers instead of just 2.
We'll
Excellent.
find things for you to fight. It'll be fine.
Yes, 2 drama queens in a pack. This should be interesting, as it were. I am very excited to see how this develops out.
I'm not a drama queen. I just stand up for myself.
Well,
Children.
rejoice, you're with
I'm not a child. I'm 21.
I'm sorry. I shouldn't
Technically,
laugh.
now you're 0. You haven't quite aged in vampire years. The clock sort of resets. I am a healthy 230-ish.
You look amazing for your age.
I remember
I've been
the
embraced. 780? Huh. It's been a while.
I am a young man compared to these 2. These 3?
Okay.
remember the War of 1812 like it was yesterday.
Ah, yes, I am the young one then.
Okay, maybe I am the baby. Okay, fine.
But that's honestly in your best interest. I mean, you're fresh talent. You have so much to learn. Think about it. If what you can do now is just the basis of your creation, imagine what you would be like in 10, 20, 100 years. And you have
can teach Addie about TikTok.
Maybe
Sounds
not.
like a disease.
Well,
I guess it kind of is.
disease on something, that's for sure.
Yeah, I think I could get used to having a long time to get better. It does sound good when you put it like that.
At everything that you want to. Anything that you want to.
And with it, we must come to the final ceremony of our night. Everyone, it is time to bond you all as pack members. Please reach out your hand. Addie, thank you. We in the Sabbat, as he speaks, he starts to, like, very gracefully guide the dagger across everyone's hand in a circular motion, cutting in deeper than he did last time, making sure to pierce even the minimal resistances that people might put up in order to draw blood. And then very kind of roughly, he pushes all your hands together so that they all intermingle, interlock with each other, the blood soaking into each of your bodies, sharing it. And he kind of looks up and putting on, you notice on his wear now, he's wearing these kind of long kind of like almost vestments over his clothing.
Mm-hmm.
As he kind of takes a step back, his arms outstretched, he's like, yes, this Sabbat we preach the ideal of supremacy, of absolute freedom, which is not wisely used by everyone. The other packs have been seduced by the teachings of Lilith. An enlightenment that preached subservience to the fathers. But we remember the day of Cain. We remember his age and lineage. In nomine Cain, e patris et gladius, in sanguis sancti. The Sabbat, which the others pack do not, we loyalty in family and bond amongst everything else. This pact is your family, it is your guarding bolt. It is with the hilt which the sword that you are will manifest and will strike down our enemies. Whether it be the Camarilla, the ones that believe in nothing, or the antediluvians themselves. And in the greatness of Gehenna, we shine. You are within the oldest of organizations, my dear. And it is very exciting. If only the Archbishop was around to see it herself, or themselves.
They'll be back.
Always. And at this point, you could see he's almost in, like, an ecstasy of some sort, like a trance has taken over Javier, and he's literally crying. Except the tears coming down, traditionally, are not tears, but rather blood. But this is not of sadness, this is of joy. The step into the reconstruction, the rebuild of this once great city. Yes, it is what we are here to do. You, today, Evelyn, do you accept the teachings of the Sabbat as your own? Do you accept the family that we shall provide for you?
I do?
Excellent.
That's the right answer.
Oh, good. I didn't worry.
Will you become another finger of the Black Hand and grip the sword of Cain, which we are, to slash and destroy our enemies?
I will.
And do you dedicate yourself in the elimination of the past generations and the diabolizations of the grand forefathers we call the antediluvians? The path of Cain will be strong.
Yes.
And so, I name you our tenets and our rules. Study Cain's history and act like Cain as much as you may. The beast is one part of your nature. Increase your will and instinct so you can master it, just like the rest of yourselves. Take the vitae, the blood, the power surf of unworthy vampires, and study the insights their sacrifices offer you. Make yourself worthy through wise actions. And as he's doing so, he's like gripping all your hands together, squeezing it almost painfully so, but you know this is just a bit of theatrics for him. Purge whatever remains of your lost humanity. Develop the potential in your now. Become and evolve past morality. Test your own limits and others with suitable challenges. Find out what the kindred can do so you know what goals to set for yourselves. Follow the path. Become like Caine. And then he releases. Violations of these tenets will end in immediate termination and final death. That which is the end of all life, even on. Excellent! You are now a Sabbat pack. Oh, amazing. And of course
And
you
Amari,
Mhm.
Amari leans over to Addie and says, "We're friends forever."
And Amari, being the most senior member, I do appoint the leader of this pact. Only second to your pact priest, which is myself.
It's an honor.
Yes, an honor for some, but more so of a duty. It is time, as I said before, for all of us to earn our keep. I do W. Ductus Amari Oringo. Excellent. Now on to formalities as he takes out a handkerchief and kind of hands it off to you. Go clean yourselves up. We can talk more about the next coming steps, as it were.
I definitely don't want to get this on my shirt.
That makes sense.
I won't lie. We're not in the best of spirits right now, but we're going to start a glorious rebuilding. Your tasks are
Bless.
to complete, as your first, is to take stock of the world. Go to the other members of the Sabbat. We are split and separate. And see what you can do in bringing us all back together onto the fold. But be careful. Because the Camarilla, the prince, the architect, the false bastard of a title he holds, will seek to destroy you for it. He fears the return of the Sabbat. He fears what the Archbishop once held over this great city.
As well he should.
I hold a document in my hand, and he kind of pulls out an envelope out of his shirt pocket and hands it over to you, Amari. With this holds the names of several other Sabbat organizations in the city. We have splintered, unfortunately, and I would like you to learn what it would take to bring them back. In it, I want you to take stock of the current power situation between the Anarchs and the Camarilla, as well as rumors of a revival of some sort. A revival known as the Second Inquisition. Figure out our enemies, draw the lines, and get our allies back together. That is the first step in retaking this city. Prepare yourselves, my children. War is coming. And this city will burn red. And as Javier finishes his speech, I really would like to just ask you all, what are the thoughts going through your heads right now?
For Amari, this is what he's been waiting for. He's been basically blending in with everyone for the time being, waiting for the moment for the Sabbat to come back. And this is it. And he has a responsibility now, so he is ready. Because after the last failure of the Sabbat, he feels like he could do more this time around.
For Addy, this is just delightful. Painting the town red with Camarilla blood. Nothing would be more pleasurable than that. They'll all fall.
Arthur?
I think in Arthur's mind, there is an image of a man who's tall, severe, well dressed, and he and Arthur are sat in a dark room, windowless, with a file between them. They're having a conversation, and it's the last conversation that Arthur would have with this man before he disappeared into the night. And as we have this rite, Arthur feels the blood of this individual flowing through his veins, the blood of his father, and the sins that that man committed, and wonders if maybe, just maybe, this is the chance that he can find him and do what must be done.
For Evelyn, confusion. She's not certain what she's agreed to. War is coming has rattled around her brain, and she's not sure she likes that. She's never liked to really get her hands dirty like that, but something about the sort of buzz of excitement between her colleagues around her makes her second guess that for a moment. And she thinks again about what Amari said to her a little while ago about having time to get better at all those things you want to do. And she sort of thinks for a moment about whether she wants to get good at war.
And with it, the rest of our pack depart from Fairmount Waterworks, looking as the night slowly starts to dawdle to an end. And as the sun rises and our kindred turn to corpses once more, there's a certain feeling in the city. A certain feeling like the powder keg has been lit, and at any moment, it's about to go off. And so ends the first chapter of Cradle of Caine, a Sabbat Vampire the Masquerade Chronicle. Thank you everyone for watching.
Scars on me, globe in